Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Garcia Enlow. As a result of current events, I chose to explore the impact of abuse, particularly sexual abuse, and its effect on children's psychosocial development. I will focus on Erikson's psychosocial theory. Child sexual abuse is any interaction between a child and an adult or another child in which the child is used for sexual stimulation of the perpetrator. It can include both touching and non-touching behaviors, and it affects both boys and girls. Let's examine Erikson's theory. He theorizes everyone will experience 8 psychosocial stages throughout their lifetime. Some of those stages he proposes are trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame, and initiative versus guilt. Erikson theorized if a stage is not fully resolved, the old pattern or unmet need is carried forward, affecting the child's ability to handle tasks, relationships, or stages. He theorized children develop feelings of pride, shame, and guilt by age 6. Sexual abuse hinders a child's ability to deal with crises as he or she goes through life, thereby decreasing their ability to successfully advance through Erikson stages. This may lead to depression, self-destructive behavior, suicidal ideations, and sexual problems. Victims of sexual abuse have difficulty establishing interpersonal relationships because the abuse teaches the child the world is cruel and uncaring. Common relationship complications they may face are difficulties with trust, fear of intimacy, and difficulty establishing personal boundaries. Signs of sexual abuse may be difficult to detect in young children as they may lack understanding of what is happening to them. Look for changes in the child's behavior, including sudden onset of anxiety, depression, social withdrawal, or sleep disturbances. It is important to realize children cannot always verbalize they have been abused and may express their suffering through marked changes in their behavior. Physical signs of child abuse include bedwetting, simulating sex with dolls, and pain in or around the genital area. Dr. Christine Blasey Ford recently testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee about the alleged sexual abuse she experienced at the age of 15 by Judge Brett Kavanaugh. She recounted how that abuse has caused her long-term depression and anxiety. Many discredited Dr. Ford's testimony of the alleged abuse because she was unable to recall specific details, such as the exact location of the abuse. However, research evidence shows it is not uncommon for victims to go for years, even decades, without having memories of the abuse. In his book, Silent No More, Aaron Fisher recounts how at the age of 14 he spoke up against legendary football coach Jerry Sandusky in the Penn State sexual abuse scandal. He states he was ostracized by those in charge of protecting him. Aaron Fisher further chronicles the long-term effects of the abuse, which began when he was only 11 years old. He has suffered with panic attacks, shattered relationships, and betrayal of trust. He has embarked on a journey to emotional wellness by telling his story. Victims of child sexual abuse do not always cope with the effects of the trauma in a constructive manner. While some are fortunate enough to seek help, others engage in substance abuse and reckless behaviors. Others repress the experience as a coping mechanism. I will discuss the prevention of child sexual abuse and available resources to aid the victims of such trauma. This information will no doubt be invaluable because although some of us may not have experienced this type of trauma, others have. Or we may know someone who has and is struggling. We all need to talk about child sexual abuse and how to keep our children safe. The first steps are setting clear boundaries and limits with everyone involved in our families and social circles, and speaking up when any of those rules are broken. Other preventative measures to consider are teaching children that their no will be respected, teaching children about the right name of body parts, as this will give them the right words if someone is hurting them, and telling them that they will be believed if someone is hurting them. It is important to avoid denial and remain calm when dealing with a victim of child sexual abuse. A common reaction to such unpleasant news is denial. Do not interrogate the child, as this may confuse or fluster him. Let him tell you in his own words what happened. If you suspect your child has been sexually abused, get help immediately to your pediatrician, as physicians are obligated to report abuse. Your pediatrician will recommend the therapist. If you suspect another child has been sexually abused, you can report it anonymously to 1-800-4-A-CHILD. It is my sincerest hope that this information has been beneficial to you. It is important to know that there is healing and emotional wholeness after such trauma. To those who have been victims of child sexual abuse, your past does not have to equal your future.